Yo, what up, guys? Beside you here with some exclusive and exciting news that you want to watch all the way to the end to find out about. Right here, Fusion warm-up event just popped up into the game, and you might be wondering what's coming in 3 days or exactly 4 days right here. July the 3rd. Yes, you're not wrong. A Fusion is coming to Raid Shadow Legends. So what type of Fusion will it be? What type of champion will it be? I think those who watched the previous Call of Arbiter episode already should have an idea about it, because we did give a teaser for a champion who does not yet belong into the game. So I'll head over right here and show you what this champion looks like. Yes, this was the champion that we featured in the Raid Call of Arbiter episode, is it 6? And of course, he now has his own Raid Call of Arbiter today, launching today, Thursday. So if you've already seen that Raid Call of Arbiter episode featuring the Dwarfs factions and their story and all that, I haven't seen it yet while recording this video. I just wanted to put out the champion, just talk about this champion right now, his skills, his abilities, where you can use him and all that good stuff, and if it's worth going for this fusion. Of course, we did say that the previous fusion seems a little bit lackluster and a lot of people will skip through it, so that means the next fusion will be a little bit more difficult and a lot more worth it. So let's see if this is actually worth going for. His name is GNUT, and he's a Dwarfs faction champion, just like every dwarf out there. And yes, he's a legendary champion. In the Call of Arbiter episode, I've mistaken him for a rare, because he did look like the other rare. He's not wearing some glorified armor or some huge outstanding helmet. He just looks like a moderate epic champion, maybe not like a rare. But if you see some rares or epics, they even look a lot more designed than he is. So I guess he's modest. When I watch the Raid Call of Arbiter, we'll find out his role in this faction. So we're not here to talk about the lore yet. We just want to see what this champion is all about, and that is GNUT right here, a Call of Arbiter champion that was released in this episode, and you will see him in game right after the Call of Arbiter is launched. That's why they did a server reset to actually add him to the game. So once the Call of Arbiter episode is launched, you can find this champion in the Dwarfs faction. But remember, the fusion starts on the 3rd of July. So when that fusion starts, what type of fusion will it be? It will be an old school fusion. What do I mean old school fusion? Is to be one of those fusions that require you to get champions like this. Where is it? Like this. So you get rares, get epics until you finally fuse him. So that's gonna be that type of fusion. It's not a fragment fusion that you have to collect fragments of 5, 6, 10 until you finally get them and save them. No. So that's something we'll have to talk about when the fusion calendar launch. But let me tell you, these fusions are a lot harder, right? Because you can, yes, they are just generally a lot harder because they require more resources, especially leveling up the champions, all the rest to epics, all the epics, and of course finally getting to 5-star, and then finally getting the champions. So they're a little bit chaotic for players who are just coming in. It's not very beginner friendly, but we'll see if it's worth it. Right now I want to talk about his abilities right here on his A1. Let's first talk about him. Defense, legendary defense champion. Yes, so that's a good thing. We want to see more of that. So I'm curious, will it be a defense damage dealer, or where will it be used? In the A1, it tells us that hits 3 times. That tells us Fire Knight. Immediately we see A1s that hit 3 times, multiple hits on an A1, we immediately think of the Fire Knight. So maybe they're trying to help us take care of that content more, but let's see if his other skills are going to help us for that content also. Each hit has a 80% chance of decreasing the target storm meter by 15%. Each hit, 80% chance. That can be booked up to 100% chance. So that storm meter decreased 3 times. Is there a condition? If the target storm meter is not decreased, each hit has a 80% chance of placing freeze debuff on the target for 1 turn. This is Fire Knight. This A1 is just saying, hey, here is a champion for Fire Knight. What am I talking about the Fire Knight? The Fire Knight at hard levels of the Fire Knight. I'm not talking about normal Fire Knight. You can use Amiga to decrease turn meter and a lot to decrease that Fire Knight turn meter. But for hard mode Fire Knight, 1 to 10 or whatever you're beating at, it requires freeze on the boss to decrease his turn meter. So the freeze is converted to turn meter decrease. So I guess that's what this champion is coming in right here. We already built some rares, some epics, even some legendaries who can do a similar role, but not quite. This seems like this is the best skill for that Fire Knight bot. It's a 100% chance to land it. Of course, his spirit affinity, so you always have to take note of that so you don't get weak hits. It's not like it's irresistible or something. It's just amazing. If the target stun meter is not decreased, freeze. Damn. All right, that's an awesome one right here. We appreciate them bringing a champion that can help a lot of players. So immediately people are thinking, oh, I'm definitely going for this champion. Even if you're currently beating the Fire Knight at level 20, now you know there's a champion who will be perfect for the Fire Knight at level hard 10, right? So that means even not just endgame players will go for it, even beginner players will want to go for this champion, so that when they can finally beat hard mode Fire Knight, he will be one of the champions that help them keep the boss stun meter consistently down. Of course, triple hit also to even help with your counter attack or with your all allied joint attack with and all that to help take the shield down immediately. Damn, that's awesome. But let's not just hype out the A1. See, I've not spent so much time on any champions A1 like this when I'm talking about them for the first time. I'm actually excited about this one. So save all your resources. Don't push shards this Friday that is coming up with the 2x on ancient shards. Save all your shards because this champion will be worth going for if you're scarce on resources. All right, let's see what the A2 does, if it's going to even make this deal that is already sweet even better. If this champion brings nothing else to the team in terms of the A2 and A3, I will be perfectly glad with the A1 being so awesome. But let's just see if it's going to be better. Attacks all enemies, that's an AoE hit, which is perfect for the wave. Then has a 75% chance of placing 50% decrease attack for them so they don't kill our cold hearts and all our squishy champions we are bringing into the boss. And of course, places weaken debuff on them, on all enemies for 2 turns. Also places a counter attack buff on this champion for 2 turns. Why are you placing a counter attack when you did not provoke them? Anyways, they'll most likely go for the champion with the weakest hits. So if his damage might be based on defense, since he's a defensive based champion, I don't see why counter attack buff will help him specifically in a wave content. I feel like he should be able to place that counter attack buff on somebody else, not himself. That's just my thinking. Places counter attack on a random ally for 2 turns. That's something. On a random ally for 2 turns. Right now you're placing decrease defense on them, decrease attack on them, placing weaken on them, and then protecting yourself. Here I am criticizing the A1 because criticizing the A2 because the A1 already looks amazing. It's on a 3-turn cooldown when you spend books on it, so the decrease attack is gonna be awesome, and of course the weaken is gonna help you clear that boss fast. But everybody usually brings a what's her name now? Lydia. Most people bring a Lydia to that Fire Knight hard mode. So I guess. But I guess some other people who do not have a Lydia yet can always use this weaken. AoE weaken is a useful resource, especially when you only have decrease defense and maybe decrease attack coming from somebody like who plays slow speed, Stagnite. All right, let me see what else this can do. On the A3, this champion attacks 3 times. Okay. Each hit decreases the target's defense by 3%, stacked up to 30% decrease defense. Each hit also heals this champion by 30% of the damage dealt. I said it. Once they give you one A1, which is awesome. Now they give you the A2, which is amazing, sort of decrease defense, decrease attack and weaken. They give you an A3, which is meh. It's just meh. This is going to help you take down the boss faster. That's what I think, because if you keep the boss stun meter down with that consistent freeze, keep the stun meter down, you'll be spending a lot of time in that battle trying to kill him eventually before he finally gets a turn. So I guess this decreasing his defense even more by 30%. Wow, damn, that's huge. Remember, the boss already had decrease defense and weaken on him. Now if he had another decrease defense, 30% decrease defense, it will be amazing. Each hit decrease the target stun meter. So you want him prioritizing. What do you want? Is it the A2? Is it the A1 or the A3? You have to choose between the A1 and the A3. But this A3 is on a 4-turn cooldown, so you shouldn't be worried. Once you use it once, you always want to start the battle with your A1, then you go in with the A3, and then you can go back to your A1 and A3, A1 and A3. This A2 most likely will be locked out in that Fire Knight boss. Remember, I'm talking about this in the form of a Fire Knight hard mode. For those players who are not even fighting the Fire Knight at hard mode, I guess this champion is something you keep for that purpose. Now I would love to see anywhere else where it can be used. I'm not seeing it, because decrease defense and decrease attack and weaken is useful everywhere. That's single target hits, hitting 3 times is useful in some places. Decreasing any boss's defense by an additional 30% after you're placing decrease defense and weaken on them is even useful anywhere. So he's a Fire Knight specialist that most likely will be used on every other person's dungeon. But I wish that decrease attack and weaken was decrease attack and decrease defense. If it was decrease attack and decrease defense, that would most likely take out our decrease defense champion. So that's what I'm talking about. So that's amazing. A3 is good, not as good as the A2 though. It's just good. It just makes you hit harder. All right, passive. When counter attacking, deals 100% more damage instead of 75%. Okay, now I see why the counter attack helps. Initially I was criticizing why is he putting counter attack on himself, why not put it on somebody else, right? I guess he can take the hit and he can counter attack. I wish he had landed provoke though, because I'm telling you, they're not going to hit him except somebody does an AoE hit. That's when he counter attacks. So he's, for those who are coming into that Fire Knight hard mode with their skull crushers, he can help right here. Remember, I'm talking about Fire Knight hard. He can also help you take down the shield and keep it down in normal Fire Knight. I was so focused on that freeze debuff on that A1 that I forgot about the first sentence that says on the A1, each hit has a 80% chance of decreasing the target storm meter by 15%. That's more likely like an Amiga, where you turn off his A2, turn off his A3, and let him use only his A1 in Fire Knight 15, Fire Knight 20, Fire Knight 25. This is the champion that's going to make it happen. Damn. Triple hit, storm meter decrease 15, 15, 15. So that's like what? 45% of the storm meter of the Fire Knight gone whenever this champion uses his A1. 45% storm meter decrease whenever an A1 is used. No matter which Fire Knight stage, normal or hard. I should emphasize on that. I shouldn't just think this champion is only for Fire Knight hard because of the freeze. No, it's actually going to be useful everywhere. Fire Knight hard and normal. So my verdict, this is not a champion, a fragment. I mean, this is not a fusion you want to miss. Even if it's an old school fusion, this is not a fusion you want to miss. You might have an Allah already. You might have, what's his name? You might have a Cold Art already. You might have an Amiga built already and all that. But there's none of them can do this multimeter decrease, right? No, I think Allah does similar thing. Similar. Let's quickly check so we don't miss. Inform. Allah is from Demon Spawn, right? There she is. A1 storm meter decrease the target storm meter by 25% on each critical hit. So she has a condition right here that you have to build crit, which is not a problem. Oh, she's still queen. She's still queen. Come on. She's still queen. 100% critical rate. She hits 3 times. 25, 25, 25. It's still way more than his 15. It's still way more. But it does have the condition of critical rate, which is not, it's easy to accomplish. So she's still queen of the A1s. Damn. They should have made him 25% storm meter decrease on each critical hit. Am I reading that right? 25, 25, 25. She does what? A 75% storm meter decrease? Anyways, it doesn't do you any harm to have more than one storm meter decreasing champion. So if I should check my game right now, he's not yet in there because I have not yet restarted my game, or the Call of Arbiter episode has not been launched at the time where I'm recording this video. So he will pop up right here in the Dwarfs faction, and yeah, it's a good addition. So that's what I think about this one. This is not a fusion you want to miss. I know I usually come up to this this fusion announcement with a negative view of the champion and all that, but this time around, this champion has surprised me. Right from his A1, I was already impressed. Then the A2 and the A3 just is alright, man. It's alright, because I have other champions who are doing similar stuff on that A1 and on that A2 and A3, but I'm really excited about this one. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this champion GNUT. That's the name, right? GNUT, in the comments below. Are you going to be going for this old school fusion, or do you think for a weird reason that this one is something you should skip out on? Tell me why you're skipping out on this one. Why would you do that? And don't skip out on this champion. Don't skip. It's gonna be something you can use even if it's not right now. If you have your tummy tab reduction already settled for Fire Knight, you can always use it in Fire Knight hard. All right, most likely useful in a spider also, because of on the boss, I guess. Not tummy tab decrease on the spiderlings because you want to freeze them and let them take a turn, but at least for the boss, wherever you use an Amiga, this champion comes in. If not for block revive, for tummy tab decrease. I keep comparing to an Amiga because that's our go-to guy. So let me quickly also check out Amiga's A1 for comparison, since Alloy is already too crazy. Where is my Amiga? A1 30%. If so 30%. If so, he is coming in right there with 45% tummy tab decrease. No ifs. No ifs. Of course, you always have to contend with affinity, and that's the difference between GNUT and Amiga and Alloy and Coldat on whoever you're using in that capacity. So I'd like to know your thoughts on this one. Are you going for GNUT, or are you going to be ignoring it? I'm going to be going full for this one without skipping out on anything. And of course, when the fusion is launched in game, I'll let you guys know about my final thoughts on this one, especially the calendar. We're hoping, since this is an amazing champion, like we've already agreed from the start, from the initial review, that it's amazing, we hope they don't make it too difficult. We hope they don't give us crazy points to reach. I'm hoping. And of course, I'll break down my calendar and tell you my plans on how to, you know, look for those loopholes in this type of fusion and maybe achieve it with not too much resources expended. All right, help me hit like in this video, and I'll look forward to your comments below about GNUT. Later, guys.